to this powerful witness. You're busy college students. There's a lot going on in your life. You have tremendous obligations. You're on an academic pursuit. You're on your professor's schedule. Is that correct? You're giving the gift of yourself to a cause in our global village that is, at this moment, unprecedented. Some of you will be studying philosophy here at the University of Texas, and you will study an 18th century German philosopher named Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant came up with a term called the categorical imperative. And as he thought deeply about moral philosophy, his term categorical imperative meant something like this: you cannot will for yourself what you do not will for everyone else on the planet. The categorical imperative is, if you will safety and security and freedom for yourself, then you have to will it for every other person on this postage stamp size of real estate called the earth. We're on a spaceship, all of us. And it's a very confined space. And it's shared space. And when there's a criminal or a dictator or a bully who wishes to rob that space of freedom and security and safety for others, he must be stopped. And that's the categorical imperative. If that bully came into your home to injure your brother or your sister or your children or your loved one or your partner, you would do everything in your power to halt, to stop it. And this is why it's an absolute categorical imperative for the family of nations on the earth to stop Assad crimes in Syria now, right now. We cannot purport to be moral persons unless and until that criminality and oppression is halted. And you are here because you believe that there's something that you can do to stop this dictator. The UNICEF organization has sponsored this event on this powerful campus. And you are present as a witness. Right now, we have the entire, through internet technology, and we hold a computer in the palm of our hand. None of us can claim ignorance about the oppression and the criminality that is happening in Syria. We read about it. It gets pipelined into our consciousness. We know what is going on there. We cannot declare ignorance. We cannot say what those in Nazi Germany said in the 1940s. I simply did not know it was happening. We can't claim that argument. We know that 1 million children are being affected by this dictator. These are creatures who are vulnerable, the most vulnerable in our midst. These are the ones who are being injured and being killed and being murdered. And we must do something about it. It is an absolute categorical imperative. And you and I are giving witness to what is happening. Now, you may be wondering, what can I do? Here I am, a 23 or 24-year-old person. I'm in school. I don't have a good job yet. I don't have a position. Nobody knows me. I'm not connected. I don't have any influence. The fact of the matter is, all of that is wrong. You are powerful people. You are receiving a powerful education at a prestigious educational institution, which separates you out from 99% of the other people who share this spaceship called Earth with you. And there are several concrete things that you can do. And if you will do these things, there will be a viral effect. And there will be a contagion of compassion that happens in this country. And there will be witnesses of 100 people on 1,000 other campuses. And not only in this country, but also throughout Europe and Canada and the other nations of the world. And there will be this exponential effect. And it starts with you. The first thing you can do is when you read the New York Times or when you read the Dallas Morning News or the morning newspaper, tweet that article about Syria. Tweet it. Take out your cell phone and tweet it. I want to tell you a story. About 2 years ago, when Arab Spring, so to speak, was happening in Egypt, and I was following the events there, and a pastor friend of mine here in Dallas told me that I needed to follow a young woman named Naveen Zaki. I'll never forget Naveen Zaki. And I followed her on Twitter. And she had several hundred people following her, just a normal person, just like you and me, nobody special. Nobody whose name would be emblazoned in the headlines. Just a normal, common person in Cairo. And I started following her. And the demonstrations were happening in Tahrir Square. And this is just a person just like you and just like me. And then one day at one of the demonstrations, she took out her camera and she took a picture of a group of Christians surrounding a group of Muslims. The Muslims were kneeling in prayer at their appointed time of prayer, and the Christians were holding hands. Raise your hand if you've seen that photograph. Raise your hand. That photograph was picked up 3 days later by the Associated Press and went to every newspaper and every news outlet all over the world, and that was a person just like you. Just a normal, common person. And now, if you follow Naveen Zaki on Twitter, you will see that she has thousands and thousands and thousands of followers because she was a witness. She showed up just like you're showing up tonight. And she took out her cell phone and she took a picture of a simple group of people doing a commonly decent thing. And that image is now emblazoned in our consciousness. So do not underestimate the power of your witness, your presence, what you do. Secondly, invitation. I was telling my brother Rami, probably several hundred people have come and gone this evening. And if we 200 people each invite one other person to this cause, and that person in turn invites another person, and that person in turn invites another person, this campaign for our million children in Syria will be won soon. And an awful oppressive dictator will be repudiated, arrested, tried before the world court for the crimes against humanity that he has committed. But each one of us have to invite one. The power of one No doubt you've heard the story of a little boy who was walking a beach one day. Thousands and thousands of starfish had been washed up on the beach. And this little 6-year-old boy was walking down the beach, and one by one picking up a starfish and throwing it back into the ocean, the life-giving ocean. There was a jaded, cynical man, perhaps about my age, looking at this little lad's seemingly fruitless and hopeless, overwhelming project to give life again to each one of those starfish. He was on his balcony looking at his little boy, and he was so frustrated by this little boy that he left his balcony and went down to the beach and stopped the lad and said, "There's no way you can make a difference. What are you doing? Look at all these thousands and thousands of starfish that have washed up on this beach. How can you possibly give life to each and every one of them?" The little boy looked at the man, and he bent down, and he picked up one more starfish and threw that starfish into the ocean and said, "I made a difference for that one." You are powerful. You are influential. There's nobody on the planet like you. You're gifted. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're intelligent. And what that dictator wants in Syria is for you to be silent and for you to be invisible. But when you speak, and when you are visible, when you show up, just like you're showing up tonight, the world will be changed. God bless you.